there's this really kind of oppressive element of whiteness that pervades all of this. Almost all of this can be summed up by saying that whiteness reads non-white bodies in a certain way, and that way is almost never positive.
In his CRDS article on this topic, Cook writes the powerful quote, "Death is not created equal for everyone in this country."
People are unsafe in different situations, and that has happened a lot recently, and that has been more prevalent recently, or I should say more in the public eye, for things like getting pulled over as a Black person or a person of color even, versus getting pulled over as a white person is a very different experience. How we're treated after death is also not an equal thing. That's what the heart of this blog post is really about. Different bodies are treated differently and represented differently after death based on their skin color, their sexuality, their gender, whatever. They just are, and it's unfortunate and awful that we can't even have this, they call death the great equalizer, and it's really not. Yes, we all die, but we all die in different circumstances, some of which are more equitable than others. And after death, our bodies are not treated the same.
One of the many instances of viral Black death include Emmett Till's open casket.
He died at the hands of police officers over a miscommunication, a lie. And so it was very telling of what was going to come. And he was only 14. And his mother took pictures of his body while it was in the casket and circulated them. And what that did was stand in as proof of this violence against the Black community. The videos themselves, I believe, were inspired by or, kind of progressed from that 1955 instance.
Well-known Black Lives Matter activist Darren Seals, whose 2016 murder still remains unsolved, wrote in an online post, "Black death is a business."
That video becomes a threat to other Black men or people in the Black community to say, if you go up against a police officer, this is what will happen to you. So that's another tactic that whiteness uses to keep Black life suppressed. Then there's also just money. It is a constant reminder of these atrocities because somebody is paying for it. Those videos get sold and bought by different corporations because the more video hits they get, the more money they make. So it behooves them. They make money off of it, and they don't care about the rest. It doesn't matter to them that video shows up on the top of people's timelines, the more it gets shared. So as a person of color, you can't even sign into YouTube without seeing that video, most likely, because it's at the top of your timeline because everyone else is sharing it. Same thing goes with social media. Even if the video isn't playing, you still see the screen cap and the title of it. So there's the money aspect, and then there is the prejudice aspect. If this is an active way that whiteness tries to suppress minority bodies, is by constantly inundating them with reminders of what happens if you go up against whiteness. The images are so simple that I wanted them to stand in contrast to this kind of complicated topic. It is absolutely complicated to talk about, but what's not complicated is to say, we don't have the right to kill people, anyone, because we are scared of them. And even that is that's so wrong, right? We weren't really scared of them. And that's why I hate the word like homophobia, right? It's not a phobia. It's not fear. It is prejudice. Their signs say, "Can I live?" What a simple yet powerful question. And their shirts say, "Stop killing us." And that's all they're asking for, is to live.
Cook's article also mentions the online controversy around Tay.
Its only job was to collect tweets from all over Twitter, collect them and create a kind of cohesive vision of what people were tweeting about in that moment. And it started talking about Nazis, started talking about Hitler, and then it got a lot more racist and awful even than that. To me, that story really speaks to the power of technology, because this is a robot that does nothing but reflect the current reality. And it couldn't be stopped from being racist in less than 24 hours.
Cook's article also explains why the viralization of Black Death still occurs and what people can do to help stop it.
There are reasons behind wanting to see it. None of them are great, but mostly it's just that we want to share in that experience, and we want to be a voyeur. We want to look outside and say, oh, I'm glad this wasn't me. Or look at this awful thing, how interesting. It's like a train wreck, right? The old metaphor is, it's like a train wreck, I couldn't look away. That's exactly what this is. It's a train wreck and we can't look away from it. But when we don't look away from it, that's when all these atrocities become these constant reminders. I talk about not contributing to voyeurization, and then I name the people who have had phone footage shared of their violent death. And I also link to other instances. So those are things that I would change if I were to redo this. I wouldn't put those in there, because the first thing we have to do is recognize that this is happening. You don't need evidence, video proof, to know that this is happening. And if you do need to look at that, then we need to start at a much earlier point, right? We're not ready to start talking about this yet if you can't believe it's happening without a video to see it. It's one of those really hard moments because people are going to watch it. But if we can get them to think critically just for a second before they do and say, you know what, I don't need to see this. I know it's happening. I believe it's happening. I know that something needs to be done and I'm going to help do something. But I don't need to see someone's death in order to be a good person or to do something good about it.